high in the cold, unforgiving mountains, where the wind howled like an old storyteller and the nights were longer than hope itself, lived a man named Elias. He owned no land, no family, and no future anyone would envy. His cabin was a crooked wooden shelter patched together, with scavenged boards and prayers that tomorrow would be kinder than yesterday. Elias survived by carrying firewood down treacherous paths to the village below, earning just enough coins to buy bread, rice, and sometimes, on rare, lucky days, a piece of dried meat. Every step he took on those rocky slopes reminded him of how fragile life was, how easily a misstep could end everything. Yet despite the hunger, the loneliness, and the aching cold that never truly left his bones, Elias carried something most people had lost long ago: compassion. One evening, as the sun bled into the mountains and shadows stretched like long fingers across the path, Elias noticed a figure sitting on a stone near the trail. She was wrapped in a dark hooded cloak, her posture tense, her hands trembling. Travelers avoided strangers in these mountains. Fear spread faster than kindness, but Elias stopped. He asked if she was lost. No answer. He offered water. Still silence. He had only one coin left in his pocket, a single dollar he had saved to buy food for the night. Hunger clawed at his stomach, but something about the woman's stillness felt heavier than fear. He gently placed the coin in her palm, whispering that it wasn't much, but maybe it could help. That was when she finally spoke. Her voice was soft, controlled, and unlike anything Elias had ever heard. It carried strength, sorrow, and a depth that made his heart tighten. In that instant, he felt it. This moment mattered. Before you continue this story, remember this: stories like these don't survive without you. If you believe kindness still matters in this world, subscribe to the channel and stay with us until the end, because what happens next changes everything. The moment the hooded woman spoke, the mountains seemed to fall silent, as if even the wind paused to listen. Her voice was not weak or desperate like Elias had expected. It was steady, educated, and layered with emotion that hinted at a past far removed from hardship. She thanked him, not just for the coin, but for stopping it all. She explained that she had been walking for days, hiding, avoiding roads, avoiding people. Elias noticed the careful way she chose her words, as though every sentence carried weight. He offered to walk her partway down the mountain before night fully claimed the path. She hesitated, then agreed. As they walked, she shared fragments of her story, never full answers, always pieces. She spoke of betrayal, of a life where trust had been shattered by those closest to her. Elias listened more than he spoke, something he had learned through years of solitude. With every step, he felt a strange pull toward her. Not romantic at first, but human, like recognizing a familiar song you didn't know you remembered. She asked about his life, and when he told her, she looked at him with something close to disbelief. "You gave me your last dollar," she said quietly. Elias shrugged, embarrassed. To him it felt natural. To her it seemed unthinkable. As they reached the edge of the forest, she stopped and turned toward him. For a moment her hood slipped back just enough for him to see her eyes. Sharp, intelligent, and filled with tears, she refused to let fall. She told him that voices carry truth, and his silence had spoken louder than words. Then she disappeared into the trees. Elias stood there long after she was gone, clutching the echo of her voice like a secret. If this story is pulling you in, don't forget to subscribe, because the smallest moments often lead to the biggest revelations. Days passed, but Elias could not forget her voice. It followed him through the mountains, through his labor, through his sleepless nights. Something had shifted inside him. Then one morning, strangers arrived in the village, well-dressed men asking questions, offering rewards for information about a missing woman. Elias kept his head down, but his heart raced. Their descriptions matched her. That night, as Elias returned to his cabin, he found someone waiting at his door. It was her. No hood this time. She looked different, stronger, resolved. She told him everything. She had come from a powerful family, one entangled in business and influence, and when she refused to be controlled, she became a liability. The mountains were her escape. Elias realized the danger he now stood in, but fear never crossed his mind. He offered her shelter without hesitation. Over the following weeks, a bond formed, not rushed, not forced. They spoke of dreams, of freedom, of the cost of integrity. She helped him read, taught him things he had never known, and he taught her how to survive with little and still feel whole. For the first time, Elias felt seen, but danger crept closer. The men returned, And this time, they searched the mountain paths. Elias knew the truth. Kindness had consequences. And yet, if he had to choose again, he would still give that dollar. Viewers, if you believe courage starts with simple choices, subscribe now because this story is far from over. The confrontation came at dawn. Elias stood between the men and the woman he had come to love. Not because fate demanded it, but because his heart did. She stepped forward and spoke with authority that silenced everyone. Her voice, the same one that had changed everything, carried truth like a blade. She exposed the lies, the manipulation, and the fear that had driven her into hiding. The men had no power left when truth stood naked before them. When they left, the mountains felt lighter. She turned to Elias, tears finally falling, and asked him why he helped her when he had nothing. Elias answered simply, "Because I knew your voice mattered." That was the moment she knew he was the one, not because he saved her, but because he never tried to own her. If this moment moved you, subscribe and share stories like this remind us who we can be. They did not become rich overnight. Their life was still simple, but it was honest. Together, they built something stronger than wealth, a home filled with respect, trust, and purpose. Elias no longer walked the mountains alone, and she no longer had to hide her voice. All of it began with $1, one moment, one choice. And maybe that's the lesson. You never know how small acts echo into eternity. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories that remind us kindness still changes lives.